Okay, welcome back to My Hero Academia Review, episode number 10. This is reviewing the 49th episode of the My Hero Academia anime, which is called One for All, and also covering the 187th chapter of the manga, Toastum, Todoro-kill versus the Nomu High End. Let's talk about One for All. This one, something unique with this episode. I haven't seen this since uh, they did this also in the previous arc as well, where they had one episode where they adapted two full chapters and partially of another chapter. This one is simply put like chapters 92, 93, and partially chapter 94. But at this particular point, there's only about a few chapters left. So the next particular episode, episode 50, will probably finish up this arc, and then the following arc will be probably taking up pretty much the rest of the season, the hero licensing arc. Yep. This episode concludes the big brawl that All Might and One for All and All for One had. I got handed to John Sweezy, the guy who voices him, the guy that's a dub. He does an absolute fantastic job voicing him. He is overall probably one of the best villains of the whole entire series. And he's great. You can finally get a chance to see kind of fully his face. Apparently, his last battle with All Might before this one, apparently his eyes are gone. It kind of looks like he doesn't have eyes anymore, so that's the reason for the life support mask. It looks like he also has a nose, so he has a mouth. But how in the world is this guy seeing, even though he doesn't have any eyes? It's really bizarre. But there's some revelations in this episode, like the leader of the League of Villains is actually the grandson of All Might's mentor, who was in fact a woman. I'm like, that's interesting. The fact that All Might's predecessor was in fact a woman. I think for an anime watcher, I don't think anybody has a problem with this at all. I think I know the reason why they're doing this, because the whole thing of flashbacks to his mentor right now anyways, because recently they released the first trailer, or the first full trailer for the My Hero Academia film, which I have heard is canon, and it takes place between seasons 1 and 2 of the anime. Yes. I think this thing is out in, let me look it up, I think it comes out in August, because it's not that far from now. Let's see. Okay, yeah. The film itself, which is gonna be My Hero Academia 2 Heroes, am I review it? Oh heck yes, when it comes out. And it's expected to come out August 3rd. So yeah, just a couple months from now. So it's gonna come out later on this year. Hopefully, I get a chance to see the dub, because pretty much the whole series I've watched dub so far, except for the opening episode of this current season and the two OVAs, which I'm curious of why the Funimation hasn't dubbed those yet. But yeah, as the fight between All Might and All for One is by far a really great fight, and the fact includes pretty much with All Might pretty much kind of exposing himself in a way. I'm not talking basically showing his private parts. No, it's his secret. The fact he's actually the whole him being big and bulky, just a facade. As far as I know, only a small handful of people knew who he was, knew what he looked like when he's not in that form. One, of course, was Midoriya. And in case you wonder, does he ever tell his friends that he knew all along about this? No, he does not. He keeps his secret. I mean, later on, Bakudo does figure out that Midoriya is not until the most recent arc. One of the most, it was just here for this one, the card arc in the manga, that Bakudo figures out that Midoriya's quirk is from another person. that the All for One quirk is from a different person. Yeah. And despite the fact in this episode Midori doesn't do anything, oh yeah, him and his group do get punished by having his teacher lose his trust in him. But that's handled in the next arc. But it was really great to see like all the main characters of the series just see like brief little cameos, see their reactions, see All Might's battle with All for One, with All for One. Yeah, and it's interesting though that they don't refer to that the public does not know who this guy is. Only the heroes know who he is. Midori kind of knows, but the public does not know who All for One is at all. He's just a villain with a similar name to One for All, except that his quirk is that he steals other people's quirks. That's simply the way it is. But it's overall a really good episode. And next week's episode is going to be his retirement. It's called End of the Beginning, Beginning of the End. Now, let's talk about the newest chapter of the manga. Which, well, how should I put this? This one kind of basically doesn't expose Endeavor's like family to the public. First, it starts off with basically you see Shoshoto's mother and I'd say his two siblings. Yep. Yeah, it shows them off and they talk about the reactions to hearing about him becoming #1 hero. And this pretty much takes up a good chunk of the chapter. So conversation. And they talk about, despite the fact that Endeavor is a great hero, he's a terrible person. Yeah, and he says he doesn't go on talk shows. But I think because he's #1, he has to go on talk shows now. And then we cut basically to Endeavor. Basically, what looks like this. It looks like about halfway through the chapter, you finally see him, and he's battling a bunch of Nemus with Hawks. And this fight pretty much takes up the whole chapter. Takes down like partial of a building. Yeah. And he tells Nemu like, "Is that your?" And then Endeavor's like, "Is it a fire move?" He says, "Impossible." And that's it. Mostly put, it's like half conversation with Never's family. Well, most of his family. After him becoming #1 hero, it's mostly his family just reacting to it. But they're basically contemplating going public of how terrible a person he is, despite the fact he just became #1. Of course, in the anime, it was revealed that he actually been fighting for some time to be #1, or at least fight for his spot because All Might kept, because there's like big gap between them. Of course, now currently he is #1. It's a pretty good chapter. It just advances the Endeavor character. That's really the whole point of this particular chapter. I mean, the readers know that Endeavor is a terrible person. Despite the fact he's good at being a hero, but in person, the guy is a terrible human being. He put his wife in a mental institution just because she criticized of how he raised their kids. Yeah, that's simply what he did. And Shudo only visited her once, like a couple times, just to understand how a terrible person he is. Now, of course, Midori has pointed out to Endeavor that Shudo is not him, and of course, Midori is not All Might. And I think Endeavor kind of understands that. The only reason why, at that point, that he considered that because the powers are very similar. Now, I think, as far as I can tell in the current episode, Endeavor kind of does figure out that Midori is a success because he does hear All for One basically reference it. But the chapter itself, I give roughly a 9 out of 10. It doesn't advance this particular arc at all. This arc is just, well, unlike the Culture Festival arc, it felt like some stuff is happening. This arc feels like it's moving at a snail's pace. It's a very slow down arc. I mean, yes, we've only got a chance to see some action with the whole thing of Endeavor versus Nemus again. Yeah, this is actually the first time Nemu's been featured in quite a while. Not since a Hero Raid arc that the Nemus have been seen. And also, this is the second chapter. Yeah, second chapter. I guess like second or third chapter in a row where the main character of the series is not in this chapter at all. Shudo does make a brief appearance if, like, you see an image of him, but as for the regular characters of the series, they don't appear in this whole entire chapter at all. Yeah, past couple chapters, it's all about Endeavor. But my guess is when the anime gets to particular chapters, they might throw in some filler scenes of what Midori's up to during all of this is going on. That's my personal guess, anyways. But the anime itself is only about, I'd say about 94 chapters behind the manga right now, which is fine. But as far as like the current season, it's going to end with a hero licensing arc. Though I think when they adapt the internship arc, that'll probably take up the entirety of season 4, because the way that arc goes, you can probably do this for an entire 24 episode season, and then do the Culture Festival thing probably in another season, or you could probably have the current season like do the couple arcs come after internship. It depends what the anime wants to do. All right, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for my review of the 7 Deadly Sins. Yeah, I'm gonna do that next. Okay, I'm gonna do this in the next review. Bye.